going to come to impact your fixed deposits income. It may be related to the period, maybe it may be related to the interest calculation, or it may be related to your maturity instructions, renewal options. So these rules, new rules will be effect from March 2025. So related to interest calculation, so quarterly based interest rate adjustment will be implemented instead of annual, of yearly. So it will be standard, and standard interest calculation across all the banks. Uniform method for interest calculation will be implemented. And previously senior citizen, they used to get benefit of 0.5%. If 1 year deposit attracts 7%, so normal public will get 7% per annum. In the same case, senior citizens used to get 7.5%. Now that 0.5% has reduced to 0.25%. Now he will get only 7.25%. Penalty on late FD renewals. So now if you forgotten to renew your deposit, for example, you have made a deposit for 1 year. After maturity, if you have forgotten to renew, then it may attract lower interest rate than the original promised rate. And related to tax rules on FD interest, previously TDS on interest income is 10%, now it is increased to 15%. So if the senior citizen in a financial year, if he is getting more than 50,000 rupees interest income, then 15% will be deducted as TDS. For the normal public, if in an annual, if the total interest earned is more than 40,000, then 15% TDS will be deducted. If the FD interest in a financial year is more than 1 lakh rupees, then instead of 10%, 20% will be deducted as TDS. In the same case, if you have made a deposit but you are not given the PAN card details, then 30% TDS will be deducted. So no tax benefit on renewal FDs. Okay. So if it is renewed on that period, on that financial year, entire interest will be taxable. Combined interest tax calculation. For example, if you are having deposits in a bank with the different branches, so the interest will be added and tax will be calculated on the total interest. Pre-mature withdrawal penalty. For example, you made a deposit for 5 years or 3 years or 2 years. If you are coming and withdrawing the deposit before the maturity, then penalty will be calculated. For example, in some cases, if you are made a deposit for 1 year, and if you are coming before 1 year, and if you are premature withdrawal, then bank used to charge minus 0.5%, minus 0.25%. Now it is increased. If it is 1 year tenure deposit pre-close, then penalty will be 0.5% to 1%. If the deposit made for 2 years and prematured, then the penalty will be 0.57% to 1.5%. If the deposit made for 3 plus years, 3 years or more than 3 years, the penalty may be vary from 1 to 2%. And now banks are coming with limited partial withdrawal. For example, the details will be shared, a detailed circular. For example, your deposit is for 1 lakh rupees. Bank will allow you to part withdrawal for 25,000, 50,000, like that. These new rules are coming. Mandatory lock-in period. For example, you are making for a longer duration FDs, lock-in period for the first 1 year, 2 years will be implemented. In this period, you can't withdraw or you can't premature your FD amount. Auto renewal. So auto renewal, now consent is required. While opening, you have to give a compulsory auto renewal request. Then only your deposit will be renewed. Unclaimed deposit. If the customer made a deposit and he has not taken the money, Then after 10 years, these amount will be transferred to Senior Citizens Welfare Fund. Digital FD closure mandatory. So all banks, online FDs closure, digital FDs allowed through net banking. This is mandatory. And so what are the recommendations for the investors? Compulsory link your PAN details with your deposits, then make a short term deposits and long term deposits, and see that you give a auto renewal option while making the deposit, and give the nominee details. Then keep some amount in tax saving FDs for the longer period, and some amount in debt mutual funds, so that you can withdraw whenever it is required. Thank you, friends. If you like my video, please subscribe my channel. Please share my channel details with your friends also.